Hello, this is Daniel, and I'm going to do a tutorial on setting up a menu in DVD Studio Pro. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is make sure we have DVD Studio Pro activated by clicking on it, and go to Window, Configurations, Advanced. This is going to explode the screen out largely, and it'll fit your monitor so you can use the full real estate of the monitor. I don't know why they don't do that in the default setting, but anyways, let's move on. First thing you want to do is import your assets, and you want to make sure that the video is something that will be compatible with DV Studio Pro. I already have these prepped, and if you have some files that you don't know how to prep, watch my other tutorial on Final Cut Pro to DVD Studio Pro, and that will tell you how to get the files in the correct format for DVD Studio. And DV Studio Pro will take a number of different file formats, but this will be the best, and it will won't have to process as much information if you have them set into the MPEG-2 format for the video and the AC3 for the audio using compressor. So I'm just going to command click and grab all of these clips. There's only 3 here. There's one video and one audio clip per video. So once it's in, first thing I want to do is make 3 tracks, one for each video. I already have one track by default. Let's add another one by right-clicking or control-clicking, and go to track, add another track. So now I have 3 tracks. I'm going to drag my audio and video file from, whoops, well, I just dragged it, that's fine. I can get rid of a track now. Just hit delete. So you learn something new every day. If you just drag and drop inside the window pane here, it'll make a new track for you. So that'll work. Let's go ahead and get rid of these. And from here, let's go ahead and activate our first track by just double clicking on it. And if you look down on the timeline, this will play your video for the track that you have highlighted. I'm going to highlight head end by just double clicking on it, and you can see now I have the head end clip, and finally clip number 3, it's down here as well. So these are what we're going to match up to our buttons in DVD Studio Pro for our menu. And what you want to do now then to activate your menu is go ahead and double click on the menu one, and the first thing I'm going to do is create a title. So let's go to Styles and go ahead and just grab something that's in the ballpark of what you want. You can always change it later. Let's just go ahead and grab this one, Gil Sans Bold Title. Okay, if you move it around, it will tell you when it's centered. And let's just call that good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm going to double click on it and now change the title. DVD title. Please choose something more creative for yours. Okay, so from here, if I want to change the font a little bit more, I can go to Format, Font, Show Fonts. That'll bring up this little dialog. And from here, we can change the size and the type for that matter. Okay, that's fine. So once you have a font size and actual font style that you want, next thing you should do for once you have your title is make your buttons. And what I will do for buttons is there's a couple different ways you can do it, but this is the easiest, I think. Go to Styles and hit the Buttons tab and just find one that's, again, something close enough to what you want. You can always change it later, and there's more advanced tutorials on how to change the buttons, but for the most part I'm just gonna take a default here. Let's just grab this one, and if I just double click on the button, I can change the title, and I'm gonna call this one Auditorium to go with my Auditorium clip. And let's see, let's just grab something else crazy like this picture frame. That's fine. And I'll call this head end for the head end clip. And finally, just one more for the sake of being different. Normally you wouldn't choose all these weird buttons formats, but this will be fine for our purpose. grab another button. Okay, and finally call it room 4. 104. Okay, get rid of the button. Alright, so now what we want to do is link our buttons to the tracks. So what I'm going to do right now is highlight on auditorium, and I'm going to bring up the inspector so you can see it a little bit closer to see what's going on. The inspector tab is in the bottom right hand corner, is what will tell you what is going on and pretty much anything that you have selected. If I click on the background, it'll be selecting the menu, and it says right now there is nothing set to the background. If you had pictures, you could set the background to be the picture. If you wanted to choose one of the video clips, you could even choose that, but for right now I just want to do nothing. And I'm going to go to auditorium now and tell the properties of it on button number 1 to take track 1, the auditorium track for that target. And I'm going to click on target number or button number 2 and go down to tracks and stories, choose head end, and finally button number 3, go down to tracks and stories and room 104. And once we have that set up, all these buttons should be ready to go. So let's go ahead and simulate to see what it looks like. I'm going to right click on the menu, hit simulate, and when I highlight and click on auditorium,
alright, I'm ready.
it'll click the auditorium track. If I click on head end,
You need to turn it
place
off.
a head end clip, click 104, place a 104 clip. Okay, everything is working properly. One thing I do want to change on the middle button is you see this gray screen that's ugly. Click on the simulator. Let's go ahead and change that. And like I said, most all the properties are found in the inspector window for a button. So I'm going to highlight on button 2 and see under the asset for button 2 it has a gray TIFF image. Well, let's change it to something a little bit more pertinent to what we're doing and change it to the actual video of the clip. By default it has motion, so that means it'll be playing the video like a little video within the frame. If I turn that off, it'll just be a still image, and from here you can choose what image you want to use. But I'm going to go ahead and give it the motion tab. So beyond that, you can get a lot more into this details in terms of the buttons. I'm just scratching the surface here. But for the most part, that should work. Let me go ahead and simulate that to show you what that will look like. Okay, so now when the DVD plays, it will have a little video playing within the box. And that's good enough for now. Okay, so once you have all your menus linked up, or all your buttons linked up within your menu, next thing you want to do is just go ahead and go to build and format. It's just like the same way of burning as I showed in the earlier tutorial on using DVD Studio Pro. Again, if you haven't used it or if you haven't viewed it, go back and watch it. It's worth watching. Alright, and then finally, once you name the DVD, choose the location for its build, and then simply hit build and burn, put in a disk. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm going to show you one other thing, and that is some other good resources for DVD Studio Pro. CreativeCow.net is a great website. I'm going to go ahead and just click on their tutorials, and I just clicked on the wrong one, so tutorials. Scroll down, go to DVD. It'll be under Apple DVD Studio Pro, and there's a number of different tutorials on here, videos that will show you how to use DVD Studio Pro, and they're all pretty good. So that's a good resource. And also the DML-XAN on the Dynamic Media Lab computers has a folder called Tutorials and Freebies, and inside of here is DVD Studio Pro folder with a lot of other more advanced tutorials on DVD Studio Pro. So if you have any other questions beyond that, feel free to send me an email or swing by the office, and I think that's all I'm going to do for today. Thanks a lot.